Shalini are back because it's Tuesday evening. I hope you all are doing well. How are you doing? How are you, Shalini? Let's begin by asking you. I know you are having a tough day, but still.
I am thrilled to be back. I really missed our LinkedIn Live, and I hope everyone is having a fantastic Tuesday. I hope you're doing well, Prigya. And for those who are listening, I'm having a very adventurous time. As you can see, I'm not at my workplace. There is a snake in my house, and we are actually trying to get hold of the forest department because we don't kill snakes here. We department and anger. Okay, and we are trying to find someone to find the to catch hold of the snake and put it back in the forest. But the snake has occupied the territory right outside my workplace, so I can't go upstairs. And that's the adventure I've been having. But let's go on to our agenda for today.
Yeah, so because our agenda for today was patent agent exam, we'll discuss about it. And I hope, Shalini, everything's get better very, very soon.
I hope so. I may have to log off in between because the snake catcher, the forest department guy, has my number. So if he
Uh,
calls, I have to go to get rid of the our
per-
legless.
So let's begin with your experience because you may have to leave. So let's begin with your experience and then I'll keep sharing my experience regarding the exam.
My experience is I'm a patent agent, and now I don't remember how I got here.
It's been a while.
As you can tell from all the gray in my hair, yes, it's been a while. It's been over 10 years, and and I cleared it, and I I know I studied damn hard. I did. I wrote out all this. I knew act, rules, forms, and fees. I still do the relevant ones, but I studied the. I used to have a 1 year old. My older son was 1 year old at that time, and to have him in my arms, and I used to memorize act, rules, forms, and fees because that's how you study.
Yes.
You go through your act, you go through your act first and learn all the sections. For each section that you study, you learn the rules, you study you figure out what is the relevant forms and what are the fees. Of course, the forms and fees change over
Yes.
those forms and fees. Remember that.
Yes. So, yeah.
Okay, yes. And the exam itself was, I think the format was pretty much the same as it is now. We had paper one, which was uh, all about the act, the procedural requirements. And there was a lot of multiple choice or fill in the blanks, I can't recall which. And uh, part two was all the claim drafting and the drafting of the specification with a given set of claims. And if you clear both, then you go on to the Viva. Uh, and the only thing I remember is I messed up one question in the Viva. That's section 25.
Yeah.
I got slightly confused between pre-grant and post-grant opposition, but I got back on my feet, and
Mhm.
the panel was helpful and pushed me in the right. But otherwise, I think if you don't need external study guides or things. Of course, there are people you should discuss. You should study. You should study with a mentor because it helps you with claim drafting. It helps you with drafting of specification, and you should keep improving yourself with the act. I used to learn in a matrix form. I like math, so I keep putting everything in a
Yeah.
matrix and put in the little keywords in the matrices. So when I'm writing the exam, I only have to recall the appropriate matrix. Is it?
I think Shalini got stuck, and by the time Shalini is back, probably I'll screen share and show you. Hi, Shalini, you are back. Shalini, so I was just about to screen share, and I was thinking to show one photograph which I have. And so, can you see this photograph?
Yes.
So this is a photograph of one day before the patent agent exam. We have patent manual, patent act, patent rules, printout of everybody, everything, and this photo stays very very close to my heart. And whenever I open my drive, the first photo I look is this.
Good old days, huh?
Good old days. Three friends sitting together preparing for patent agent exam and remembering all the sections, all the rules, all the forms.
Yes.
So the reason I showed this photograph is basically there is a lot of hue and cry. You know what books to follow, what things to follow, what to read, where to read. So we have passed the exam reading the manual, the Patents Act, and the patent rules. Nothing more than that is required. So if you study them well, I think you will be good to go.
Absolutely, absolutely. And also, I think you don't need to get too technical about your claims at the exam level,
Correct.
because looking, of course, the people who are correcting the exam, they know
Hmm.
they can respect the earth and the moon and the sun and the stars in the sky. They are very reasonable. So if your claim drafting is has proper syntax, I think
Hmm.
that's you're not looking for a very, very
Hmm.
polished claim to be
Yeah.
drafted.
Hmm.
Because I know, I know 10 years, 12 years ago what claims I must have drafted.
Correct.
God, heaven help the person who read it, but I passed. So I think their standards were that you should
And
be able to draft clearly and concisely. Other than that, I don't think they're looking for very,
I
uh,
think because we are discussing paper two, the best resource I can suggest for claim drafting and for paper two specifically is the WIPO drafting manual. It will teach you how to write basic claims, and that is all you require for the purpose of exams. The WIPO drafting manual. So it has
correct.
some examples also for claim drafting, and specifically because people would be writing Indian patent exams, so they can go through granted applications.
I have to go. I'll join you back. My snake catches you.
Okay, perfect. So, mm, regarding the drafting, you can follow the the WIPO drafting manual. I think that is the most important resource. And if you want to go into a deeper level with drafting only, like you want to see how to write an Indian patent, you can study any of the granted patents, recently granted patents in India. And specifically, if you are from biotech or chemistry background, I'll suggest attempt questions which are related to biotech and pharma area. And if you are from electrical or mechanical area or computer science area, it's better that you attempt a question which depends on your field. Don't try to attempt question which is not from your field. And for that, for example, if you have chosen to give answers related to mechanical, electrical, and things like that, you should go and study the granted patents. If you have a look at two three granted patents and see how their claims are drafted, you will be good to go. So the basic drafting is needed. It's not like you have to go into detail and they'll judge you based on every minute things you have mentioned there. But basic understanding of a patent draft should be very very clear, and basic drafting should you should know. And for that, try to read Indian patents or WIPO drafting manual. So let me give you a brief about how patent agent exam pattern looks like. So in the first paper we have objectives, in the second paper we have subjectives. First paper is of 100 marks. For that, minimum 50 is the passing mark. For second paper also, the mark is it is of 100 marks and minimum marks is 50. Only if you qualify both the paper, that is only if you get 50 at least uh, at least 50 marks in each of the paper. Then you'll be called for viva voce, and then the examiner or the controller will have a viva with you. So basically, yes,
Hello.
Charlie. So, Shalini, I was just discussing that there are two papers. First is the objective, second is the subjective. Minimum 50 marks has to come in both the paper, then only they'll be called for viva voce. And after that, in total, it should be 150 out of 250. So, if
Right.
there are 150 marks, then only you'll be qualified as a patent agent. So, I have seen people, getting 148, 140. 5 marks, and it's very heartbreaking. So for that, the best tip I can give is try to score as many marks in paper one as possible, because that is objective and no negative marking is there. So
The
study.
entire paper is objective now.
Sorry.
The entire paper one is objective.
The entire paper one is objective, but in paper one, I think there are three parts. One is normal objective, like out of four choices, one would be correct. Some are true false type questions, like A is true, B is false, A is false, true, B is true, A and B both are true, or A and B both are false. Some true and false types of questions. And third is the multiple answer correct question. So sometimes there would be a question and all A, B, C, D choices are correct. So yeah, for that, basically for paper one, you have to go through the Patents Act very, very well, and the rules and the forms associated with
And
it, and fees. And I think it is the best time to give a tip here. Go through this table very,
yeah,
very well. This is a table in your patent act. It's called the second schedule. This table will have form name, associated rule, and associated sections. There are 30 forms. Read all the forms, sections, rules. From sections, rules, you'll know the concept and the timeline. From form name, you'll know which form is what. And sometimes direct questions may come, like what is form 2, why it is required, what are the associated sections, what is the timeline to file those forms. So this, all these sections, rules, and this table should be on the tips for scoring. And if you like, according to my experience, if you learn these questions, rules, sections, forms, and fee, you will at least score 80 marks in paper one.
I would like to add one more tip here.
Yeah.
Please make sure that you have the latest version of the act.
Yes, absolutely.
There is no point in looking at an act that's even 3 years early. Because
Absolutely.
2019, women applicants were given the same status as startup. 2022 or 2021,
Fun.
uh, educational institutions
Correct.
were also allowed to file expedited examination and early publication. So there are a lot of amendments that keep happening. So please make sure that you have the latest version of the act.
Absolutely. Study from the latest version of the act. And if you're not sure what is latest, go to IP India website and download latest act and latest rule, which has amendments till 2021.
And also share which publication you are referring to for
Correct.
the Bear Act, Prigya.
I
The
I use Universal. I use Universal. That is my favorite.
That's my favorite too. So I
It's
wanted
my
to share
favorite.
with our audience.
Yeah.
Please, please get Universal, the latest act from Universal.
Yeah.
The first place you go to is the patent office website because they have all the latest amendments. The next place, if you want a hard copy, is you get Universal.
Correct. So I and study. I feel studying from the act is the best thing. And next best resource which I can guarantee, if you are starting with basics and you don't know anything about patents, refer to the patent manual. Download the latest manual. Read from the latest manual. It will explain you stuff in simple processes, and you'll not make mistakes if you study the manual.
Right, absolutely. And I think we should also add here that Sigya is making a set of videos
Yeah.
to help aspiring patent agents, and she's going to be putting it on YouTube. So if you're stuck, you can message us what topics you need help with or that you're looking to study. and Prigya will have a video out for you. Prigya, I'm not putting all the work on you. I'm just
That's okay, Shalini. As it is, I'm covering whole of the act till now. I have covered filing, publication, examination. So that is done. And in coming videos, I'll be covering opposition, revocation, compulsory licensing, and
and
things
there's
like that.
no better person, no better resource person. Since you've been hearing her talk and you've been hearing our discussions, you know that Prigya's videos are going to cover the act
Yeah.
from the point of view. So make sure that you check out her videos.
So my idea of doing this was like to get absolute clarity on what is written in the act, and it should go out to public so that when people ask, at least we can show them, okay, it's done, it's here.
Yes, and then there is no excuse of what resources. Because
Correct.
now not only do we have the patent office website with the details, we have universal, now we have videos also.
Yeah. So whatever media you like, you can prepare from there. And still, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me or Shalini. We'll be happy to help you out, give you suggestions and things like that.
Yeah. Prigya, you think we should do some of the important topics over the next few
Uh,
weeks?
Next few weeks, I think, Shalini, in one session we should definitely discuss drafting, because rest of the things people are able to study, but drafting, they find it very difficult to study or difficult to know. So I think that can give them hang of what goes into the paper, and probably can discuss a strategy how they can attempt the question paper of drafting, because that is very very difficult. You must be knowing it's very difficult to complete within 2 hours, because we have to write so much in that paper.
Maybe we should look at some of the past papers and pull out one or two drafting exercises and go through it. And the video, the exam is just around the corner, right? It's less
Correct.
than a month away.
Correct. Anyways,
So
I'll be putting videos of drafting as well on the channel, but still we can do a live one.
there you go. You always have that. You have a resource on YouTube.
Yeah.
Fabulous. What other tips? Are there negative markings, Vidya?
So in the first paper, we do not have negative marking, but as I told you, there are three types of questions. First is single choice answer. Second is true and false types, and this is from the previous patterns we have. And third is the multiple choice correct answer. So, for example, A, B, C, D are the option. A, B, C could be correct. A and B could be correct. At least two choices are correct, and we have to mark all the correct choices so that it's you can get the marks, and those take those have better weightage. I think those questions are of 3 marks. So,
Okay.
and still I say, if you are clear with the act rules, sections, forms, there is nothing much in that, and scoring good marks is easy in paper 1 as compared to paper 2.
So I remember. So I guess the pattern has changed because when I was taking the exam, paper
Hmm.
one was also subjective. We
Hmm.
had there was a little bit of multiple choice of fill in the blank for true and false,
Hmm.
and then there was a set section of one line answers.
Hmm.
And there were case studies, small case studies, and those were bigger answers.
Okay.
Uh, so we had
So
all of them, and then one with and the paper two was one was claim drafting and one was specification drafting.
So now we have paper 2. Paper 2 also has two sections. So first section is you have to write brief answers based on situation. So they'll give you situation based questions, and they'll try to analyze your study of or your understanding of the act. So you'll have to write answers in paragraph. There will be 3 marks questions or 5 marks questions, but those questions would be there. And second part of the paper would relate to drafting. In that, there would be two questions. One would be to draft an abstract and claims and title. Other would be to draft whole specification. So a lot of writing needs to be done in paper 2, and I think we can actually do a session on how to manage time in paper 2 and answer all the questions, because that is one of the challenge with everybody.
Well, we have a lot happening this month. We have to discuss the patent agent exam. We
Yeah.
have the World IP Day coming up,
Yes.
and we have 20 days remaining in April. So
April is jam packed. Then next month we have Inter. We also had to celebrate poetry and IP, Shalini.
we have to celebrate poetry and IP. Can't forget poetry.
Yes, because Shalini is here, so we can't forget poetry. But yeah, so coming back to the patent agent, I think we still have 10 minutes. So to give you some tips in paper to divide your time very well and write each answer based on your time. If you think that okay, 5 minutes are over, I should start next question, you should start next question, because completing paper 2 is a challenge and you should practice, like, because I'm sure
Exactly.
most of you are working in some domain, or you have been, out from the college since a long time. So writing the answers very fast is not possible, because we are not in the like the regular state of writing the answers with hand. So I think practicing that also is also very important.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would suggest practice all your specification drafting and claim drafting by writing and timing yourself.
Correct, correct. So if the paper is on 6th, at least you should write one paper every week from now, so that you at least complete four papers before attempting.
All the past papers, even the ones that are there online before the pattern changed,
Yes,
because questions, the content doesn't change. Uh,
correct. And
pattern change.
if you are able to answer those questions, you will be able to go through at least paper 1 very very easily, because the same sections are important in the act. But for paper 2 you need to practice. There is no shortcut. Unless you practice, you won't be able to complete paper 1, paper 2, sorry.
Yeah, right. So you're not right.
Yeah, so for paper 2 time management is absolutely important.
Yes. Sorry, I just went quiet because I had we are
That,
dealing with backlash of the snake issue.
yeah, that is it.
Okay, back. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, Shalini, you are audible.
Okay. So, as I was saying, that even if the pattern has changed, please refer to those questions because the content doesn't change.
And again, they are available on IP India website. So all the resources are available for free. You just need to study and give the exam.
And honestly, any extra resource books that you're going to buy, those are going to be a copy of what is already there in the Bear Act, in the commentary, the Bear Act with the Act with the commentary. That's universal. It's going to be from the Patent Office website. So it's just one extra step. So I would suggest you start with the IP India website.
Correct. Start with IP India website, Act, Rules, Manual. And if you want explanation, you can find on YouTube.
Yes. Or you can join our LinkedIn live.
Yeah, or join our LinkedIn Live. And still, if you have questions, feel free to ask us. We are happy to help, and we want more patent agents in our country.
Yes. And because more patent agents means more patents.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you know, uh, last year I was mentoring a group on WhatsApp. I had put in a call, I'd offer that whoever wants any help, come, I'll create a WhatsApp group and I'll train people. Just because I wanted to give something back to the community. And I think the hardest thing people find is managing their regular job and studying for an exam. It's that coming back to studies and preparing for an exam that is the hard bit. And also, if you're a technical person, to study a law book for the
Yeah.
first is always an uphill task because you think, oh, it's a new subject. Even if you know science and technology, you may be a PhD in your subject, but in your domain. But if you're looking at a bare act for the first time in your life, it can be a little intimidating. So we would love to demystify it for you, and I think Prigya is already doing that. So if you need it, if you need help, go. Prigya, what's the address of your YouTube channel?
It's Prigya. So if you search my name Prigya, you can find my channel very well, and I'll put it in the comments also after this LinkedIn live so that you can access it.
So also, if we can give, we still have 5 minutes. If we can give some tips on how someone who is from a technical science and technology background and is attempting the patent agent exam for the first time and is dealing with a law book for the first time, if we can make things a bit simpler for them.
Yeah, I have one strategy for them. So because understanding the act and reading it section by section and rule by rule is very very difficult, and we understand that, like if you open and you start reading with section 1, section 2, section 3, section 4, it's going to be difficult, and you'll find a lot of challenge to understand what is written. So I think you should start with the terminology of what is a patent. So if you download the e-copy of the act and you'll do control F, there would be a definition of the word patent, and it would be written, because we are dealing with the subject regularly, we know what is written. It would be written, patent is granted for an invention under this act. So what is the keyword important? The keyword important there is invention. Then you can control F and study what is invention. And then you will find an invention is a product or a process involving an inventive step and capable of industrial application. What is important? New product or
New.
a process involving an inventive step capable of industrial application. Control F all the terms, know all the terms. And this is the process we keep on following to understand the act. And then when we have basic understanding, we can read it section wise.
Correct. A brilliant way to study. And when you're done studying, uh, make a table like there is in the back of the act, like the schedule,
Absolutely.
and fill it in yourself by hand,
Correct.
because nothing takes the place of actually writing it out. Your muscles, you have to train your muscles, like how
Yeah.
when you train for a marathon or you train for any kind of an endurance event, you train your muscles to do that work. You have to train your brain and hand to work in that particular manner to perform on the day of the exam. So you have to write out the table once at least, if not more.
Correct.
And you should be able to fill out the act, rule, forms, and fees. It should flow out of your fingertips.
I keep showing this table because this is so, so, so important. You can't miss it. What Shalini is saying, you cannot miss. You have to remember, even if like you want to study for the first time, also, then also you can, make it a habit. Like if you have 30 days for the exam, I'm assuming you have 30, but you have less than 30. So take up 5 forms every day, read those 5 forms section rules so that you are able to complete the 30 forms, rules, and sections within a week. And when you are done with this within a week, then go through the act, rules, and sections one by one so that you are clear with the prospect. But this is also a very good idea to study from the, starting from the back and studying from the table itself.
Because I think it at least gives you a roadmap.
Correct, absolutely.
Because if you don't know that you have to control F for patent, and you
Yeah,
don't know the inventive step is the keyword, but at least you know you have this roadmap which says Form 1 is Section 9, Form 2 and provisional and complete specification.
correct.
And also there are allied acts for Section 28, for example. There is plant. You have to know what MSME Act says
Correct.
about the uh, cutoffs for qualifying as a micro, small, or medium enterprise. So sure that you study the Allied Act. I'm sorry if I'm overwhelming you here.
Shalini, this field is such that because we have been practicing, it's very easy for us to say Form 1 application for patent, Form 2 complete provisional specification, Form 3 statement and undertaking. We can go on and on. But for the person who is studying from the first time, they'll have to take time to understand the what is application for patent. But yeah, this is the best strategy and the easiest strategy to study and to remember everything.
And for section 3,
Yeah.
uh, Prigya, what was your method for inventions not patentable under the Act? for those
So
listening.
it's like A B C D E F I J K M N O P Q. So I used to write one keyword for every sub rule, and from that keyword, I had formed. I don't even remember what was that, but I had formed a word to remember to indicate what every keyword says, and what is written in the section I used to remember, because if I know the keyword morality, I know how to build upon that. I know the keyword frivolous,
I
I know
have done
what to build upon that.
15 there are, no? Including all the cancellations, there are
Correct,
15.
correct. I think it's still, I'll just open it, it's still P.
3, 15. So I had done a 3 by 5 matrix,
Yeah,
5 by 3,
5
and
matrix.
FDHIJ, something like that. So
Yeah,
5 by 3. So I had a 15 block of 15, and I could reel it out because I had put in a letter in each box.
I know. I must be having my older act, because in that act I had written all the words I was using to remember the act. But sorry, I do not have it right now with me.
I have moved so many residences since that patent agent exam. I think I've moved one and two were in a different country. So
Yeah,
one, two, uh, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. Nine residences since then, so I don't have my book with me. The book is missed. And I wish I had retained it. But
so
that
yeah.
time it seemed like such a big thing.
Even I don't know where is that book from which I studied, because then it would have been very easy for me to just tell that this is the keyword to remember section 3.
I keep saying 10 years ago, but it's not 10 years ago. I think now that I've then aged my son, I think it was 13 years ago.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So, uh, so start from the back if you're struggling with the act and don't know where to go. That's a good roadmap, and it'll help you keep tabs on where you are in the act. And then
correct.
once you're done with that, then you fill in the gaps, whatever does not require a form. Then you can go back like an inventor step or novel, new, and
Correct.
industrial application. Then you can go and read the act because by then you would have spent enough time with the bare act that you're comfortable with going and filling in the gaps.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a very, very good strategy. Start with forms, along with that associated rule sections, fees, and then read the whole act once you're
Yeah.
done with that.
Prigya, is your claim drafting thing up already? I'll take a look.
No, not yet. So I'm still covering the act itself, and after that, I think it should be. I'll start with it around 20th. Last 10 days, I'll do some drafting, a bit of drafting, but still, I'm on the explanation of act. I've covered all the aspects of patentability, filing, secrecy provisions, publication, and yeah, anticipation and examination. They'll go up today and tomorrow, and then we'll go to the post grant process, opposition, revocation, compulsory licensing, infringement, some miscellaneous sections, and then we'll cover the drafting.
And now IPAB is no longer there,
Yes, so
and we
at
have
least I
IP bench. Yeah, we don't have IPAB.
we have to do, we don't have to study IPAB act and IPAB sections. One good news.
Yeah, and we do have IP benches though. I think Chennai was the latest to join.
Yeah,
Delhi and
latest it started in
Chennai
Chennai.
is there in the act. Yes,
No, not in the act. That would
was
not be covered in the
yeah.
act. That's a separate legislation. But yeah, at least you don't have to study the process of IPAB and how applications are appealed in IPAB now.
Yeah. So I think it should be interesting. I'm looking forward to the videos. The
I
next
was thinking I also want to give patent agent exam once again, but no.
video,
No, I don't want to give.
now we should help people clear
Yeah,
the exam.
help people to clear the exam.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's all for today's Shalini, I guess, and we'll see everybody next Tuesday. So
We have
Shalini's video is stuck. Yeah, Shalini is back. Shalini, I was saying that's all for today, and probably we'll meet everybody next Tuesday.
yes. See you next Tuesday.
Perfect. Okay, all the best, everybody. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and we'll be happy to help you. Take care. Bye bye.